Hello again and welcome to CCCAA Championship Soccer here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Today we begin with the men's semifinals. Fresno City College getting set to take on the Golden West College Rustlers. I am Jeff Stoynoff, joined alongside Dave LaTourette, Associate Head Coach, Santa Rosa Junior College. And Dave, welcome back. Thanks so much. Thrilled to have you here joining us again. And we get started here in a fascinating matchup that really underscores, I think, this whole weekend in the men's bracket, which is a Titan in this league here in Fresno City College trying to repeat as champions, and a Golden West College team, an upstart team coming off a couple of upsets here, and they come in here free and easy, nothing to lose.
Absolutely, and I think what we're going to see here, too, is we think about Fresno over the last couple of years, Final Four, win a championship last year, but they come into this Final Four maybe in a little different situation. Missing some starters, they're a little bit beat up, but they're playing with some emotion from a former player who passed away recently. So it'll be interesting to see how Fresno handles the players that they're missing from injury. We'll see who actually does play because of the injury. Then we go to Golden West. Like you said, they're coming in free and easy, nothing to lose. But when they say that, I think they're coming in knowing that they can win. But when I look at Golden West, too, one of the biggest things you see about them is they don't score a lot of goals, defensively minded, and their top goal scorer is a center back. They're number 24. I believe it's their number 24, Juan Vargas.
Juan and Jesus Vargas team up to really key this offense for this Golden West Rustlers squad. Trying to win their second championship in school history. You have to go all the way back to 1977 for a Golden West championship. Meanwhile, Fresno City, you only have to go back to last year. So they're used to being here. They come in with a lot of experience. But, of course, in this format, I mean, how often do we see it? Every year in one game here. You can get this one into overtime, into penalty kicks, and then anything can happen.
Absolutely. And with Fresno, too, the experience, I think, makes a big – there's a lot of players here that were at the Final Four last year. Maybe didn't play as many minutes, but come in comfortable in the environment. And I think that's important because I think we'll see also, too, in the second match with San Francisco City, a number of players who've not been in this environment. And Cerritos, we know, has been in environments, and that will be very, very interesting to see how they handle that. The other talking point, Jeff, maybe we can think about is that Golden West has been almost a week since they played, a little bit more rested. Fresno played a tough match on Tuesday. They had some games and matches postponed because of the smoke impact of the fires that were up in Northern California, so they're on about 72 hours less rest than Golden West is.
We are underway. How important is the first 10 or 15 minutes here for a team like Golden West right now, comes in with a little bit less experience here and comes in as an underdog on paper?
I think they want to just do what they're doing right now, get into the final third and be comfortable in the environment and see how they handle it. I think it's really good for them to get some of the energy out, maybe the anxiety out, and realize, hey, we can play with anybody in the state. And there you can see right now they've decided to step high and press a little bit on Fresno's back four. So we'll see how Fresno handles that in going forward here. Fresno pretty typically will play a 4-4-2. They don't leave that formation very much, but I know with some of their injuries, head coach Eric Solberg had said they had to change formation a little bit in the last match against Lake Tahoe just to be able to adapt to some of their injuries and the personnel that they had.
That one cleared back out. We've got our first whistle, and come back to Fresno.
And I think what you saw right there is something we're probably going to see a little bit from Golden West, a little bit physical, maybe on the borderline of a little bit chippy. And how does Fresno handle that intensity that Golden West will play with and be able to manage it? Because in the regional final, Golden West at Mount San Antonio, Mount Sac didn't handle that too well. Red card in the 50th minute, and that put them behind the 8 ball. So that will be interesting to see Fresno's ability to deal with that.
Fresno comes in off a victory over Lake Tahoe. You referenced that earlier as the North region on both the men's and women's side wide open this year. Lake Tahoe was a 13 seed, though, paradoxically a very strong 13 seed.
Right, a 13 seed, and they were good and fortunate. They, to get to that point, they only, I won't say only, that's not maybe the way to wait, but they had to play a 12 seed to get to that game. So Skyline a 12 seed and Lake Tahoe, a 13 seed,
Yes,
played each
Folsom
other.
Lake, San Joaquin Delta, 4 and 5 seeds,
Right.
knocked out. So
Yeah, we lost all on the north on the men's side. Our 2, our 3, our 4, and our 5 seed all didn't make it, and on the women's side, a 1, a 2, a 3, and the 4 all were knocked out. So it's, like you said, going to be interesting.
Fresno in control in the red jerseys.
Yeah, very comfortable on the ball. Fresno looks right now, and as we take a look at Golden West and how they're deciding to let them play. It looks like they're going to compact the middle a little bit, let them play wide, and force Fresno to play wide. And I think that's what Fresno wants to do. So we'll see how that plays out.
Covarrubias will have a free kick. Covarrubias returning from last year, and it's an experienced team that comes back for Fresno City.
And we'll look to see. And we've talked about this in the past, but Fresno always finds a way to have jerseys that are hard to read numbers on.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. Deflected back out. Golden West in white. Just underway. Men's semifinal number 1 coming up. It'll be Cerritos taking on City College of San Francisco in a matchup that I think mirrors this one in a lot of ways. Cerritos, the top seed in the South, and City College of San Francisco works their way as a double-digit seed through the bracket to arrive here at the Final Four. Long kick. And that one played for Fresno back the other way, so they tried to skip pass. Gama in goal for Fresno City. Misha Marson goal for Golden West. Just into the 5th minute. They tried a long pass, but the Rustlers there. And the turnover.
That's become one of my favorite nicknames, the Rustlers.
Yeah. It's not. It's unique enough without being too obscure or too weird. They didn't reach too far for it. Played out by Gama. Pretty even start, both teams. Now a counter possibility here, dropped on the far side, or I should say on the near side, and played out of bounds, and I believe this will be a corner kick. We'll see what the call is.
And there's what you see. We'll notice from our surface. We're on a synthetic surface today, and that ball gets through to the end line and off the end line very quickly for a goal kick. And both these teams play on natural surfaces, so them having to make an adjustment to the speed of this surface will take a little bit of time as well, more than just a practice session or two. Fresno missing some of their best players. Eduardo Segura, their MVP, went down in the game against Lake Tahoe. We don't know if he's going to play today. He's not on the field right now. Mateus Santos and I'm not sure if Michael Vega is on the field, but those players have missed a significant amount of time in matches the last couple games because they've been injured. And Eric Solberg said it last night at the banquet. He said we're beat up, but we are still together, and that's an important part for Fresno.
Well, it'll be a testament to their depth if they can advance here and make a run and maybe ultimately finish off a championship, as this one is cleared out in a way back to the Fresno side.
And if that's the case, I would think it would be a bit more special maybe than last year in a different way.
And this one will be thrown in by Covarrubias. Yes, Segura has been an integral part, not just of the whole season, but the postseason run as well.
Right. And you speak of postseason for Fresno, their last 2 matches, they've won 1-0, both coming off the foot of Chris Amaro. 2 goals in the last 2 games.
Yep.
One of them apparently was the Golazo against Dianza. And he hadn't played a lot this season and started to play some minutes because of players being injured. And we talk about it with our guys is that we're going to have guys injured and we're going to have guys miss matches, but it comes down to who's going to come in and who's going to be ready to take the handle on the team and step up in the big moment, and he has.
Another counter for the Rustlers, but nothing doing in the way of numbers, and this will be sent back out. The Rustlers, for their part, come off victories against Fullerton and Mount San Antonio College, both of those coming on the road. So they come in no doubt brimming with confidence, especially off a 2-0 win over Mount San Antonio College, a game that ultimately they were able to control from the outset.
And the reality is, Jeff, they should be confident anyway. When you look at their schedule and their results, they've played Cerritos, they've played Fullerton, they've played big teams, they've beaten Mount Sac, so there's no reason they're not going to sit here and think, we can take care of Fresno, and they're going to, maybe look ahead thinking there's no reason why they can't take care of this whole thing for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, if you beat the 2016 champion and a team that's won multiple championships, why wouldn't you think you could beat anybody else who's here?
And maybe that's a talking point, because the first time I worked with you, I think, was 3 years ago when we talked about, hey, Mount Sac is in their 10th consecutive Final Four. They made it 11 here 2 years ago. They made it 12 in Sacramento last year at American River College. And they're not here for the first time in 12 years.
Well, that, I think, in combination with the way that the North has been so wide open, again, on both sides, is, I think, a real statement about the parity developing here, and that any number of programs capable of making a run.
And parity is terrific. It's, the good teams have been good and traditionally good, but now some other teams are starting to, emerge a little bit more consistently. And there's the first yellow card. I kind of got obscured there, but
yeah, it was a one-timer from Zuluaga, and then contact after the shot.
And that's what we were talking about a little bit with Golden West. They're going to challenge. They're going to play physical on the borderline of, I don't know, for lack of better words, chippy. And it will be interesting to see now how Fresno goes forward dealing with it. So right now, a Golden West player on a yellow card to start.
Rams looking to set up, but this one blocked at the point by Zuluaga. Again, the Rustlers want a counter.
And when Fresno gets organized and they go forward and they have the ball in possession, Golden West is doing a good job of sitting back, staying compact. They're defending with 9, leaving 1 high, so it looks like a 4-5-1. And then when they go forward, they try to get more numbers forward against Fresno's back line. So, and you see right there, they get the counter attack here. They can run at Fresno.
Rams get it back into the 11th minute. Rodriguez. And they play it back to Covarrubias. And you see the Rustlers bringing everybody back. Carlos Diaz-Verduzco maybe at about midfield, but otherwise, as you say, they're compacting it in, and I think again that's what we're looking for when you're talking about wanting to get this game into the second half and go from there.
I think they appear to be a very patient team. They trust that they can win games and grind games out to win 1-0. They keep their back four. They stay with their back four. Those four don't go forward very much except for set pieces, and that's where Juan Vargas, they used his ability in the air to score goals.
Yeah, I believe, and I had to double check this, but 1 goal allowed in the postseason for Golden West, and it came on a penalty kick.
Yeah.
So this is a team working on a long run defensively, and no doubt they'll try to bring that here. But I think as we've alluded to, Fresno, they're a bit of a grinder team this year, and especially in the absence of Segura. Maybe down a man or two here, they may look to employ even more of that.
And if we look across Fresno's season, they found a way, and we talked about this over the entire year. We have a good relationship with Fresno staff, but they find a way to score late to get a draw, score late to get a win, and they continue to do it in the postseason as well. So this is going to be interesting. This would not surprise me if we go more than 90 today.
Yes, 7 draws including it was an oddity in the schedule. They had 4 draws in their first 6 games.
Right.
2-0-4
Right.
record at that point. Again, and I wonder also, it's a style aspect, but also when you talk about experience, a pedigree of success here in the last few years, there's that comfort that you're talking about. This is a team that's not going to get rattled. If they're in the 80th and 90th minute, they get into overtime, they're tied. They're not rattled with that situation.
Not at all. No, they just play, and they're confident that they can get a result because they've done it before. And if you look at a team like the Fresno team, in terms of the personnel, it's somewhat equally as good as last year's team, missing one piece, a young man named Johnny Rodriguez, who takes that team and pushes it over the top a little bit. And speaking of him, he played 21 games this year, started for Cal State Northridge Division I level. So
what an electric goal he had in the championship
that was
game.
Awesome. And just a beautiful athlete. Take soccer out of the picture, but to watch him run and to watch him perform and the composure with which he did it is tremendous.
Again, they try the long pass, and this ball is loose, but cleared back out. As the Rustlers will look to reset and some contact over on the far side. This will draw a whistle.
And this is a situation, too, getting in towards their attacking third, Fresno City. In this situation, this is where Fresno needs to be good in their set pieces. Put numbers forward because Golden West is going to drop numbers and they're going to defend with 9. And you would think at some point Fresno's going to want to take advantage of that. But they still have Juan Vargas sits there back in the middle and wins a lot of balls, so that they're very difficult to beat in the air.
Chipped into the box, but it's the Rustlers who can play it back out. That pass intercepted by Covarrubias. And again, a Ram player goes down, and Rustlers bringing some physical play here as we move into the 15th minute.
And that's their second yellow card. We're in the 15th minute, as you said, and they're on 2 yellow cards already. And that starts to wear on you in terms of Golden West later in the match, when players maybe can't play as physical as they want or tackle as hard as they want. And that's going to be an advantage to Fresno at some point. Dangerous chance here when you look it down. There's two players setting the wall here, Jeff, and there's a seam right in the middle of the park there. You think he's going to drive one through.
Yes, see, instead it's chipped in front of the goal. Marchand able to bring it down for Golden West.
Pretty easily taken by the goalkeeper. I don't think a great set piece by Fresno, a little bit too soft on the free kick in. I like that situation there where they drive a ball into the 6 really hard, really low. In that situation, if you do that, opportunities just for deflections and redirections.
Again, they try the long pass looking for Zuluaga. He's got it in the corner, and it's played out, but it'll be a throw-in for Golden West down in the corner.
Interesting. Golden West not afraid to get into the attack really quickly if it's on. If they can feel like they can beat Fresno over the top or through diagonal balls, they're going to do it.
I wonder if that's a little bit of compacting down, trying to get the ball and then go over the top with a long pass and see if you can create a counter.
Right, which may be more difficult on this surface because it is so fast.
And the Rams are very big and athletic on the back line. We've seen a couple counters developing for Golden West that were quickly shut down as Fresno was able to get back. And
when I look at this Fresno team, they actually appear to be bigger. I have not seen them play this year, but they appear to be a bigger, stronger team than last year's team. Last year's teams seemed to be maybe more athletic, maybe a little quicker, but this is a bigger group of guys.
Yeah, you can just eyeball it and see that they're bigger.
Yeah, we don't even need the stat sheet to see that, right?
We don't need heights and weights, I think, at this distance. So we're into the 17th minute. Still no score.
After yesterday's weather, beautiful day here in Ventura.
Yeah, I took a look. I think we're getting lucky this weekend. How about this? Not only is it supposed to be nice and sunny today, and as sunny on Sunday, we get a little bit rain in between for the sophomore showcase.
Yeah.
That doesn't impact us here at SoCal College Sports, but the rain will come back. But we're kind of working around it here for the championships.
Right. Hopefully we don't get much rain for the showcase tomorrow. I'm doing a goalkeeper session for them tomorrow to help showcase some of their goalkeepers. We have over 100 college coaches in attendance for the weekend. A lot of them will be here today across the day and then into the showcase tomorrow, which Marty Kinahan and Scott Dameron and Josh Bradley and that group does a tremendous job putting that showcase together for the college coaches and for our players here in California. And the best thing about it, all our players that will be at the showcase are transfer ready. Academically, they're ready to go. Athletically, they're ready to go. So it's a good opportunity for everybody.
Rams get it back as the Rustlers can't mount an attack. Coming up, Cerritos and City College of San Francisco. That'll be semifinal number 2, but the way this one's shaping up, that one's going to be a ways away yet. We'll see how this one develops.
It almost seems to be cautious probing from both teams here right now. There doesn't seem to be a lot of risk-taking. And I would almost think Fresno would want to play a little bit quicker and try to get into the attack a little bit quicker, because Golden West has done a tremendous job of organizing in the back when they have time.
Rams get it back off the Rivas steal. And now it's Fresno City that tries the long pass. Lozano able to play that one back for Golden West.
And that right there, Golden West has more players in the middle of the field, a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it. Fresno in a 4-4-2, so Fresno's got to find a way to sort that, because if Golden West can keep playing through the middle and change the point of attack, Fresno's going to at some point find it difficult to deal with that.
Free kick coming for Golden West.
And this is where we're going to watch Juan Vargas. They bring their center back forward. They put him in the middle of the park. And they're just, you got to know that that's the target, win the first ball or the knockdown. There's the redirection. That's where they're looking for him. Exactly what they're going to do. Play it to the back post, away from the goalkeeper. Juan Vargas sort of loses his mark. And not too difficult, but well taken by the Fresno goalkeeper, with Juan Vargas lurking for any ball that gets spilled in front of the box, in front of the goalkeeper. So we can see right there, that's exactly how Golden West has scored a lot of their goals. Set pieces, final third, some way find Juan Vargas on the end of it.
Got a substitution now coming in for Golden West.
I was just going to say, we're almost at 20, into the 20th, almost 21st minute, and we're just starting to see our first substitutes, which makes sense.
Well, this feels like just about perfect weather to play in. If your both teams are sort of cool enough that fatigue shouldn't be as much of a factor.
No, this is beautiful weather, and a little breeze that we don't feel so much up here in the press box, but down at surface level is a little bit of breeze, and a beautiful day here to play in Ventura for sure. Next weekend, just up the road in Santa Barbara, the Men's Division I Final Four will be in Southern California as well.
Busy month.
Do we see a couple players in the game right now? Number 6 for Fresno, João Santos, played in 22 matches, but only started 2, so he's getting some action in.
And how does that kind of determination? Are there players? Is there a certain type that you sort of look for that you feel like can be more effective coming in, or is it kind of work out as more of a depth chart kind of a situation?
I think there's 2 pieces, Jeff. There's a depth chart, but there's also players. Watch this here.
The Rustlers looking for the counter. And in one-on-one, Gama with the save.
He did really, really well to stay big and stay very, very patient on a bouncing ball in the box, which a lot of goalkeepers struggle to make a decision on, but terrific save by Gama.
Best chance so far for Golden West. Diaz Verduzco able to work free in one-on-one. But Gama stones him. And we stay tied at 0. And there's a palpable kind of tension here as we move into the 22nd minute. When you got these types of teams here, one goal can be so very big with the style that these two teams are going with here today.
Absolutely. And also you can see some of the emotion. And there's our 3rd yellow card for Golden West. I can't see the number on the far side. You may have better long vision than I do, Jeff.
But there's not much chance of that. But we do have a Ram player still down. As Golden West has now, as you talk about, picked up 3 yellow cards. And the physical play. Well, they just came off a very physical match. Looking back, multiple yellow cards on both sides in the first half of that game, leading to a red card in the second half that gave Golden West the advantage going down the stretch, but working themselves maybe into a corner here
in this
first half.
You asked a little bit earlier, a couple minutes ago, about before Golden West's opportunity there about whether it's a depth chart and it's a partially depth chart, but I also think sometimes we talk matchups. When you look at a team and you're playing after the first 15, 20 minutes, like, there may be better matchups for better players, and maybe Eric Solberg's looking for that in the middle of the field as well.
Well, contact, and Ram player goes down, but no whistle, and we play on. Again, they try to lob it for Diaz-Verduzco, but 4 Rams are back.
And Diaz-Verduzco, I believe, is on a yellow card, and he's got to be careful because every time the ball goes over his head and he challenges late to every single ball. He was late under the foot there of that ball being played out, and he was late into the high ball going. They were trying to play him over the top. So he needs to be a little bit cautious here. We're only in the 24th minute. He's sitting on a yellow card. He's a dangerous player, and he's a great target player, but he is going to walk a fine line for the next 65 minutes. Another corner for Golden West. Obviously, the target here when they come forward is Vargas. Again, whether he's a direct target or he's an indirect target, which I think sometimes they're going to use him as a decoy. The same way that Fresno did a little bit with Johnny Rodriguez last year, where everyone's keying on him, and then if they'll use him as a decoy, and they run him around and they sneak him out to the back post, and he looks for the second ball as opposed to the first ball into the box.
Now, is this the first set piece for Golden West as they send it in? High header to the far post and cleared back out by the Rams.
Good driven ball in from Golden West there as well. I like that as opposed to a lofted ball or a softer ball. Well, nice driven ball in, trying to get it to the back post.
Vargas able to play it off of the Rams, and Golden West will keep it. In the 25th minute here, and I think if you're Golden West, you like how this is going, minus the yellow cards, which are starting to pile up a little bit here, but the best chance has belonged to Golden West so far, and I'm not sure I remember a shot on net for the Rams so far.
I don't think Fresno has had it, and they tend to be a team that doesn't have a lot of that opportunity on net. They'll have some possession, they'll look for probing balls, and then they take advantage of their opportunities. But Golden West, if I'm Golden West right now, like you said, I think they're used to the yellow cards. They're probably used to playing on yellow cards. But if I was Golden West right now, we talked about the first 10 minutes, but at this point,
there's a lot of contact there after.
He threw a punch.
That was very dicey. It was a big collision. It looked like Covarrubias and Roberto Arzate for Golden West. And then there was a punch after.
He'll be very fortunate if he doesn't get sent off right now, because he threw a fist or a forearm down into the Fresno player's face or his chest.
I want to see if I can back this up. I think we can catch the tail end. Well, all right, we can get this here. And watch here at the end. Yeah, and it's a lot of contact and then a clear punch. I don't think there's much.
And I'm guessing I'm not sure what he's gonna show him. He's going to the back pocket. If he doesn't send him off here, I'm very, very surprised, which I don't think that he has. He's given him a yellow, which in my mind, very, very lucky.
We ended up with a pretty good view of that right in front of us here in the press box, and indeed a break for Golden West, because that was a pretty clear punch. Yeah. I think that happened there. Off of a hard collision, but right. If now I'm asking you kind of go by memory here, but I think it was a hard collision. But did you see anything there that you thought? I believe the other player was Covarrubias for Fresno, but anything that Covarrubias did there that
just physical, and we don't know obviously if there's anything being spoken at the time, and sometimes that engagement changes, but nothing more than the physical tackle there, and obviously they called a foul on the Golden West player, so nothing from the Fresno side.
Gomez chips it ahead on the near side. Now the Ram player hits the deck.
I think the biggest thing
was Santos.
I think the biggest thing for Fresno, Jeff, is they have to stay composed. They're going to have to stay composed and deal with this, and let Golden West sort of do their thing. And it's very hard. The young men, emotional, big moment, and can they contain themselves?
Now, how aware are the players for Fresno at this point as to who has a yellow card on Golden West, and is there a sense in which if you can try and draw some contact or maybe get a collision of sorts, you might be able to draw that second yellow card?
I think some of the players, the more mature players, the better players, are going to be aware of that. And I think at halftime, I think Fresno's coaching staff is savvy enough to say certain players that are on the yellow, to know that you can go at this player. You can challenge this player a little bit more, because they're going to have to be careful in terms of how they tackle and how they deal with that. Maybe whether it be just a tactical foul, that they can't give a tactical foul.
Loose ball and out of play, and then more contact and a couple of players going down. That time it was Covarrubias getting tied up with Jason Velasquez.
And this has started to get a little bit past that edge of just being physical and being contested. And our referee, he's at a tipping point right now where if he doesn't make a decision of how he handles the game, which might end up having to be a red card or a statement that says, I've had enough and we need to play soccer here, boys. And he's trying to do it right now. And again,
is there any sense in which the magnitude of the game that the referee is reticent or not wanting to affect the outcome if he can avoid it by issuing a red card and putting a team at a disadvantage?
And that always happens. They know they're in the semifinal of a championship, and I think the referees, part of them is, well, I'm in a semifinal, I don't want to change the outcome of the game by showing a red card.
Beautiful slide tackle, and the Rams able to clear it back out, but the Rustlers continue to control. This one's chipped ahead. Velasquez giving chase. And another push in the back, and it's going to be a fairly easy call. And again, I think the Rams is trying to shield off there. Yeah. But again, Golden West trying to get a number, but just a kind of a forearm shiver in the back, and I don't think that's really going to do you any favors.
Yeah, no, that was a number 30 to Chris Perdomo.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why he bothers to argue that, because you saw it as well as I did, a forearm square in the back. He knocks him over. And, the Fresno player is going to embellish it a little bit, but why not?
Yeah.
Fresno knows exactly what's going on here and exactly how Golden West is going to play. And that's what Golden West wants, right? They want they want Fresno to dive in and take chances like that. And they're gonna come at you a little bit.
Nifty move by Samano, but he can't find Perdomo, passing it forward. And as we roll toward the 31st minute here in the first half, still no score.
For Fresno up front right now, Chris Amaro, he's a sophomore, and he's the player we talked about earlier who scored the two Golasso, if you want to call them that, goals the last two games against Dianza and Lake Tahoe. And he's up front right now, and he just took a foot or an elbow or something to the face. So,
if you're on the Rams sideline, are you concerned at all about the ball control right now that Golden West seems to be able to win that battle and keep control of the ball?
100%. I think Fresno right now is a little bit rattled in terms of how Golden West has played against them physically. I think they know what's coming, and they're either trying to embellish it a little bit, and they need to settle in and play soccer and do what Fresno does.
Steal for Fresno. Amaro trying to get a counter going, but it's chipped out, and that'll allow Golden West to reset as Vargas is able to send it out. And I think you see that there from Vargas, just kind of an experience play right there.
Smart
and he knows it's a counter developing, and let's just get our defense back and we can set up.
Right, and now we're going to see one of the things Fresno always seems to have in their arsenal is a long throw, and they have a couple different options for it. They draw a player out, and they may throw it over his head, or they look to flick from it. So they scored in the semifinal last year against Mount Sac on a flick off of a header on a long throw, and so we'll see what they develop here. Yep, exactly one. They tried the same ball right near the front post. The goalkeeper stays home at the front post. They're trying to get it to the back post, and they weren't able to do that.
Now the Rustlers want a counter.
We've seen this before, Jeff.
A 2-on-4. Senator sent toward the post, and the rebound and a goal! Golden West on the board!
You said it earlier. You wondered if that's what they were trying to do, and it's very apparent that they're very quick to counter and go at Fresno or anybody that they're playing.
Well, yeah, you almost think of it as the crossboard analogy, but you wondered if it was trying to kind of set up that counter punch like in boxing where you walk them towards you a little bit, try to get them out of position, and then go over the top. And that time, the first shot, no real angle, but the rebound comes off, and the Rustlers take the 1-0 lead.
Hey, really well done by Golden West. The goalkeeper makes a simple save off that flick throw-in, and what happens is Fresno's got numbers forward, and Golden West tactically quickly into the attack, quickly into the final third. Goalkeeper spills the ball. Gama spills the ball right to the front, right to the foot of Golden West. Fresno trying to settle in, and now they were looking to try to possess the ball a little bit more and look for spaces in and around.
We wondered, would the experience be a factor, how they would deal maybe with some adversity or a tough situation? Well, here it is.
Yeah, we're gonna find out right now.
In the 34th minute, as another big collision draws a stoppage in play, and for Fresno, Luis Valenzuela, freshman, slow to get up.
And Luis Valenzuela, if you look at his stat sheet, has played in 7 matches this year, has not started any. So a player with not much experience having to play for Fresno because of the injuries they have. And right there, he's fortunate. He got a yellow card. He went in a little high with his boot. Not sure Lady just missed the tackle. And also, too, the Golden West player came in, I think, and kind of stepped on top of him after that happened. That's why he was laying on the ground. So this is going to be a test of wills right now, and who's going to impose it a little bit more on the other team. But you said it, Jeff. Fresno, they haven't had to play from behind a ton this year, but they have. They've been in that position. They've tied matches late, and they've won matches late like we talked about. So they've got to do a good job right now being patient on the ball. There's space in front of Golden West back 4, and it looks like they're trying to stretch one of their central players high and into that space. They can find him there. So they've got to do a better job of stretching Golden West out and being patient to find balls in the seams in front of their back 4 and between the 2 or the 5 that they have just in front of the back 4.
Well, just one loss on the season, so the looking up on the scoreboard is at least somewhat rare, but they are an experienced team, and a lot of time, of course, still left. We're just into the 36th minute. And now it's the Rams who seem to be ramping up the physical play.
Yeah, and that was late, and it was targeted. He wasn't even going for the ball. So Fresno player is going to get a yellow here.
And at some level, is that what you're hoping for Golden West with some of this physical play that they did? Is it was Kevin Everastico.
Yeah, I think
was slow to get up after taking a shot in the chest there.
Golden West, if they play physical like that, they want to take you out of their game and how you play. And it's not that Fresno can't play physical. Fresno just doesn't play that way, and they're starting to get pulled out of their tempo and the way that they want to play. And this is exactly what Golden West wants. Compact at the back, force Fresno to just lump balls in. They're going to win balls, and they're going to look for Golden West wants set pieces and counterattacks. And as we get into we're coming into the 37th minute right now, and I think this game is 100% in Golden West's hands right now. They're in the driver's seat. They're the ones with their foot on the accelerator a little bit, and they're guiding the direction of this match so far.
It'll be interesting to see at what level can they avoid a measure of overconfidence and allow the Rams to do to them what they were able to do.
Yeah, I think Golden West, this is a time for them up a goal is to keep playing the way that they like to do in terms of being physical and being tough, but not getting into that borderline dirty type of late tackle type of thing, which could get them in trouble.
This one out off of Golden West, so the throw in for the Rams.
Golden West back 4 right now has done a terrific job. They stay compact. They're forcing Fresno to play balls in trying to play balls over the top, but they sit deep and they're just winning everything. and Fresno's having a tough time solving that puzzle.
A steal by Everastico, but no counter developing, and the Rams have it back. 1-0 Golden West as we play here in the first half.
It's really tough. You know, Fresno's trying to get in the attack. They're basically playing 5 versus 8 or 5 versus 7 against Golden West, and they're just not getting enough numbers into the attack and to support the penetrating ball in.
Rams on the attack, but that one's sent back out. Rams trying to clear, and they do.
Good pressure by Golden West and not let them play an easy ball in, so some selective pressure, not high press, but selective pressure to force Fresno to retreat, play negative, and try and stretch the game back out. And Golden West done a very good job.
Have the sense that the Rams inching up the urgency here in the wake of giving up the goal, and they're starting to control the ball more.
Yeah, I feel like they've gained a little composure back and getting back to say, hey, boys, let's do what we do. Be patient. Let's keep the ball when we need to keep it. If we can get a ball, that diagonal ball in. They've also tried to look for that probing ball in through the middle of the park against Golden West, but also trying to find that space in front of the back four, which they've done a little bit, but they haven't been able to really unlock it and get anything dangerous.
Foul call to Rajo. Quickly bounces back up, and the Rams will be awarded the kick. We've got the confirmation. Wanted to wait a little bit, but it was Chris Perdomo who had the goal for Golden West on the rebound. And Perdomo right at the mouth of the goal and able to find the back of the net.
And there's another yellow card. That one's going to go to Fresno. So Fresno's sitting on 3 yellow cards, and I believe Golden West is on 4 or 5.
I think 4.
It's a lot of yellow cards, Jeff.
Sounds right. And it's a little bit of a departure for Fresno.
Yes, it is.
It's not something that typically you see.
Not in the past couple years. They've typically been a team that's been more composed and had some maturity to do it. A different thing with Fresno this year, they have a handful of Brazilian players that are good players. And if you happen to know any Brazilians personally or just watch their...
Quick pass ahead and the shot off of Gabin in for another goal.
Quick strike again, Jeff.
That was a quick counter once again. How about this in the 40th minute? A shocking result here in the opener, the men's semifinal, and Golden West now leads it 2-0, and that was just a very quick counter.
And I don't know what happens with Fresno. I don't know if they just get comfortable and they get stretched out, but second time, not the second time, it's the second goal we've seen off a quick counter, but it's probably their 4th or 5th counter attack.
And I think it was just a turnover in the Fresno zone. And a great job executing for Golden West, and they now lead it 2-0. And if you're on that Fresno sideline, what now?
And right now it's going to be hard for Eric Solberg to look down his bench and say, to start pulling guys, because he doesn't have he's got a lot of players over there, but he doesn't have a lot of depth right now in terms of it because of the amount of players that have gone down injured, etc. You know, he's missing 4 guys, maybe 5 guys that are either carrying an injury or maybe can only play a little bit or not play at all, and you know, which includes a couple of his best players too. And as far as I know, their best player, Eduardo Segura, who was injured against Lake Tahoe, has not been on the field so far for Fresno. So missing their MVP, their team MVP, and again missing some of their better players. But Fresno's going to have to find a way to get regrouped. They've got plenty of time to do it. They need to get the first one before they start thinking about getting a second one. So I don't think I got to believe that Fresno has not been down 2-0 at any single point this year. Probably been down 1-0 enough or down a goal, but being down 2-0 against a very defensive-minded Golden West team is a big hurdle for these boys.
And I think of as much concern for Fresno beyond the deficit is that what Golden West is doing is clearly working.
Absolutely.
Too, the way that they can seem to draw them in and then create these counters that has really led to both goals.
And maybe what we're seeing, too, is part of that tactical in terms of where they've decided to pressure on the field. But the other thing, too, is physical we talked about it early, but Fresno played a match on Tuesday, another hard physical match on Tuesday. Golden West has not played for 6 days, so they are more fresh, they're more rested, they're more prepared, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were wise. Golden West went to Fresno on Tuesday and watched that match.
We don't have official stats right now here for game number 1. We do hope to have those, but the word that we have right now is that Perdomo scored both goals, and not just the first, but the second one as well. And Perdomo on the season came in, according to the stats, with no goals.
Right, and if you've watched him play, physical, quick player, and both of the goals that he scored have not come from directly. It's been a spilled ball, a second ball, a rebound, and true goal scorers know how to do that. They know how to put themselves in the right positions to be able to finish, to pick up balls like that and score. They don't have to be always beautiful goals, but just find a way to.
Does it take awareness, but also does it take a measure of strength, maybe to ward off a defender or find yourself in the right place?
And that second one there, he did. He had to fight for it. Sometimes it's that little bit extra fight, that little bit of extra physicality, the ability to have a low center of gravity and ward off a tackle, just to be able to get a toe or a foot on it to put the ball in the back of the net. And there's Vargas again, so good in the air. If they've got to realize that a ball in the air anywhere near Juan Vargas is probably not the wisest ball to play. So Fresno has to sort that out, and that ball in over the top or the ball in high, and Vargas is winning everything in the back.
And we're moving toward extra time here in the first half.
Yeah, currently coming up on the 45th minute, so we're definitely gonna have a little bit of extra time added on because of the yellow cards and the goals and stuff. But here's Fresno's best opportunity right now.
Yeah, free kick coming here from just outside the box.
Now this is the one here that can change a game really quick. We talk about, and I think Jeff, you guys do basketball, and you talk about the last 5 minutes of first half, first 5 minutes of the second half. Same thing here in soccer. They get an opportunity if they can score here. Momentum into halftime, very different.
Alexis Rodriguez chips it toward the goal, but over the crossbar.
Yeah, not even dangerous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, a couple of set piece opportunities here for Fresno, and they've misfired. I think it's fair to say on the couple opportunities that they've had. Haven't really, again, I know that I believe that Marsan in goal did have one save earlier, but very few shots on net for Fresno.
And this is going to be the takeaway for Fresno, I hope, at halftime. In second half, they get a chance in the final third, a free kick. They've got to be clinical. They have to be much better. The balls that they've put in just haven't been dangerous enough. That free kick wasn't even on goal, where they have to put a ball on goal, at least make the goalkeeper deal with it and create maybe a second opportunity from it.
Rams want to attack in the far corner, but the Rustler is able to poke it free, and now it's over the end line and sent back, but going back to Golden West.
Golden West is not only organized and compact in the back, they also fight for everything. So they're just feisty on the ball, and they don't want to give it up, and they're doing a tremendous job everywhere, but especially in the final third of just not giving Fresno any great opportunities except for the couple set pieces we've seen.
Well, who can figure this kind of thing out? If there was one team that came in here that maybe wasn't on fire here coming in, Golden West 2-1-3 in their last 6 games. Kind of a struggle. Beat, of course, 2 very good teams in the last couple of rounds to beat here to get themselves here. But the one team maybe not a juggernaut coming in here, but a juggernaut is exactly what they've been here in this first 45 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure, Jeff. That's a good point. And we know, we've seen it in soccer, you see it in other sports, but it's not always, okay, get to the postseason, and do you have some momentum? And they've gained momentum, obviously, by getting here. So their last 3 matches, beating very good teams, and now they're here. So nothing to lose, and they're just playing the way that they like to play, and they've gained some momentum. And then not only from the first 3 matches in postseason, but over the first 45 minutes here in the semifinal.
Golden West with the throw in on the far side. Another whistle.
That was
Anthony
a foul.
Munoz on the far side goes down for Golden West, and that draws a foul.
And I think Fresno has to just not react to fouls. They have to, if they foul a Golden West player, they just have to stand up, put numbers behind the ball, and deal with it. Just take some of that negative emotion out of the game and build a positive emotion and be able to play here. So Golden West looking for another opportunity, just like
Shipped
that.
into the box. The ball is loose, played back out, and Fresno able to clear. Rustlers trying to keep it in. And they do get the ball. Centering pass and a shot wide of the goal.
We are into the 48th minute. I'm not sure how many minutes extra the referee has shown, but we're in the 48th right now. And
there's the whistle, and that will do it. We head to halftime, 2-0 Golden West on top of the defending champion Fresno City College Rams. You're watching the 3C2A Men's and Women's Soccer Championship on SoCalCollegeSports.com. underway in the second half. Rams will work it from left to right with some work to do. 16-1-7, defending champions in the 3C2A, but trailing it 2-0 as we head to the second half.
Yeah, a lot of work to do, Jeff. It'll be interesting to see if Fresno makes any tactical changes or if it's just sort of their tempo of play and how they look to play on the field. So they have to change something because they just haven't been very dangerous except for a couple of set pieces. And as far as Golden West goes, I don't know that they need to change anything tactically. Everything that they've done has been very effective. I think they have to be very careful with their players that are sitting on yellows because now they're in the situation to start thinking about Sunday a little bit. They have to. You know, the players that are on yellow, you don't want to lose them to a red because now that takes them out of a match on Sunday.
Well, here's where I think it gets so tricky as well because this kind of play – I think the physical play, the trying to challenge the Rams, I think if you want to put it in the best possible light for Golden West, that's working.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you have to walk a very, very tight line here between you want to stay with what's working. You got to win this game. But on the other hand, you're exactly right. You don't want to put yourself down a man here. And then, of course, most importantly, you don't want to lose somebody big for an automatic disqualification for next game.
And there's another yellow card on Golden West to their number 7. So the referee straight out of the gate in the second half has just said, "All right, boys, we're not going to go there anymore." So, but he's got to be firm with it. I talked to a couple coaches down below at halftime, and I said, "What do you think?" And I said, I think what we saw, everyone else is seeing. Fresno got pulled out of their game a little bit because Golden West stamped their will, playing physical. And then they also thought the referee did not do the best job in the first half handling it. We did give yellows, but they called them soft yellows. Like he wasn't very firm with how he handed them out. And I think that does make a difference too.
Centering pass over the head, looking for Salais. And instead the Rustlers can clear it out.
Sorry, Jeff, and you're exactly right. I believe that Golden West can't get away too much from how that they play. Physical, challenge everything. And do that, but they have to be careful of the late tackles and that type of stuff where it puts them in danger for Sunday.
2 goals by Chris Perdomo in the first half. Centering ball into the box and a header cleared back out.
I didn't see who won it, but I would think Vargas probably won it because he seems to have won everything back there.
Quickly correct, it's Jose Vega, the keeper today for Golden West. Zuluaga has that one stolen. Batayan able to win the ball and get a free kick here. Zuluaga wants a call. He's not going to get it. So a free kick coming for the Rams
and this is
early in the second half. Sorry about that, Dave.
No, that's fine. This is where Fresno has to be very dangerous. They have to be more dangerous than they were early on. Early in the first half, they played some softballs, and they've got to hit driven balls. And that's a good driven ball, but it's not where it needs to be. Yeah,
toward the top of the box and an easy header to clear it out for Golden West. And now the Rams will have to reset, look to go back on the attack. Well, I'll tell you, if Golden West can finish this out, how about a couple of wins back-to-back against the last 2 champions, Mount San Antonio College, to punch the ticket, and then against the defending champion Fresno City College. We have a ways to go, but I don't know that you'll see too many more impressive 2-game runs than that.
It's got to be a talking point. And in Fresno there, they just get into the attack. They found a little space in front of Golden West back 4, but they'd sit 5 guys back in their own third. Down 2-0, there has to be a little bit of risk-taking, and I don't even think it's risk-taking. I think it's putting a certain amount of numbers forward just to make sure Golden West has to defend and you can put them on your heels a little bit. So Fresno just doesn't look fresh. They don't look connected, and I would like to see them do that to get connected and to pull some emotion into this to try and get one back. And they look like they've changed their formation a little bit. They're playing. Looks like they're playing 3 high, or they're just pushing their wide players high up against Golden West's back 4, and they have to do that.
Sykes on a hard drive, and that one chipped back out. Golden West able to clear. As Reyes comes over and sends that one out, we'll have a throw in.
And if there's one player that Fresno could sit high on the back 4 of Golden West, it'd be Daquan Sykes, the number 1, because of his pace. And it's tougher on a field like this. I talked about it early, but both of these teams are used to playing on natural surfaces, and any of the direct balls, the through balls, they get through. Even Golden West's been successful with it. They've also had so many balls run off the end line. And for Fresno to utilize a Daquan Sykes on this, they're going to have a very well-weighted ball to get into him. But I think Daquan Sykes high up against Golden West's back 4 would be a good option in terms of using his pace.
Zuluaga lowers the shoulder. That draws a whistle. The Rams will keep the ball.
Man, he's sitting on a yellow, so he's got to be careful.
52nd minute.
I got to change the point of attack here. So they're looking to go back the other direction, and I think they need to change the point of attack. Ball's got to keep coming that same direction. Get Golden West to move and see if you can find and penetrate seams, and they just haven't done it. I don't know that Fresno has done that once, other than playing around through the back 4, which doesn't phase Golden West at all. Fresno playing through the back 4, Golden West just sits, and we're going to give you the ball there all day, and then we're going to press you when you play a bad one. Just like
turnover
that.
In their own zone, and now the Rustlers want to attack. The lead pass too strong for Everastico.
Fresno really casual in the back today. It's been surprising, to be honest with you.
Gama plays it out.
Golden West just seems to get in on every little tackle and every little ball. Fresno just doesn't have much time on the ball, so they have to just find a way to play quicker, and they've got to put more numbers around the ball to get out of the pressure of Golden West. Also, too, Golden West is their number 11 that's playing up front is Eric Barrega, and he hasn't played much this year. He's played in about half their matches. He's only started 1. He didn't start up front, so they see something that's going on with Fresno, which they like, but it also may mean that they're starting forward. I have to go back and look to see who they started up front. Was sitting on a yellow from early in the first half, so maybe they just want to not. I don't know. I thought he was affected, but they're not playing him right now.
They try the long pass to the Rams, but the Rustlers are back. They'll send this one back out, and they'll look to counter. Flores Diaz plays it ahead. And Fresno will clear it out.
Interesting. Fresno still sitting 5 in the back, 4 in the back, 1 in front, just sitting and holding in front of the back 4 and attacking with 5, and that's not going to get it done today. It's not going to happen. Golden West too good in defense. And that's where they got to run at him right now.
Rams with the attack and overrunning the ball, and the Rams turn it back over, and that was a potential attack developing that goes by the wayside for Fresno, and it's been that kind of a day.
Absolutely. That one play may have been a microcosm of Fresno City today.
Played out of bounds, and Golden West will bring it in. Alan Flores Diaz. Well, actually, they'll call this a free kick for Flores Diaz.
Vargas, of course, come forward. We'll see if they look to target him directly, or like they have the past couple of set pieces, they look to get him on the second ball.
Driven toward the front of the goal, but Gama's the only one home.
That's not a bad option for Fresno to just try and get the ball sort of tactically in possession and into Golden West's final third off the goalkeeper instead of trying to play out of the back, which they've really struggled to do out of sort of semi-casualness, but also out of Golden West being very good at pressuring selectively. Long throw coming for Fresno. We're going to look for a flick here.
Played back out of the box, but Fresno keeps it. Centering pass, broken up. Big collision out front. Play continues now. The whistle comes in. Rustler player down on the far side.
I'm surprised they're calling a foul there. I just didn't see anything. The Fresno player was going into the ball, and the Golden West player was the one that was taking a big swing there. So interestingly, a foul on Fresno. I don't know if that was the first ball or the second ball that got challenged that he actually called a foul on there.
Well, the Rams able to get a push off the goal kick, but not a shot on net. Have you seen much change from Golden West from this point? We saw them compacting back on the defensive end, really trying to clog up the box. Still really employing that tactic. I don't know why they wouldn't with a 2-0 lead at this point.
I don't think they've changed anything. I think they actually seem a little bit more composed in terms of the emotional side to it, but tactically they don't look like they're doing anything different. They have some different personnel on the field for sure, but other than that, they seem to be on the same page, and they continue to do what they were doing. It works very, very well. And to be honest with you, Fresno is the one that needs to change, and I haven't quite seen that at this point. And we are in the 57th, almost the 58th minute. And at this point, Fresno's got a little over 30 minutes to make some changes here, and they've got to get two. But we always talk about you got to get one before you get two. So let's focus on the first one, because if they get the first one, I think the game changes, the tempo changes, the emotion changes, and that is bonus to Fresno.
Rams win the ball.
I'm actually impressed with Golden West, the way that they challenge everything. I don't like some of the late stuff and some of the borderline dirty type of play, but I do love the way that they challenge everything physically. They don't back down from anything, and I love their composure and their compactness and the way that they play, and they're committed when they go forward on the counterattack. And very, very different style than some of the other teams that we'll see play today that want to stretch the game and play very, very technically.
Yeah, it seems like they're really crowding the ball, and it's interesting and somewhat surprising to me that the Rams, to this point, just have not been able to take advantage of that at all.
No, they haven't been able to solve it in any way, shape, or form. They're letting them try to play wide, but Fresno really hasn't played wide. The way that Golden West challenges every ball, and they carry a lot of fouls, but it disrupts the game, and Fresno likes a little bit of tempo to their game. And once you disrupt the tempo, some teams just don't like being taken out of that. That's and maybe that's why Golden West was successful against Mount Sac. Mount Sac is a very tempo type of team. They're a possession-oriented team. They probe and they probe and they probe. And if Golden West took them out of that, I can see exactly now, and watching them play, how that would have been successful.
Yeah, we didn't really have the luxury of having that game available to watch, but you start to get the sense that maybe this is a little bit of what it looked like.
I think so, and I almost think we could recreate it right now if we wanted to.
Yeah. Just a little superimposing here, one team for another. A turnover, meanwhile. Sykes in from the right, the one-timer wide of the goal.
All right, maybe there Fresno can get something on that. They can build it. I talked about earlier getting Daquan Sykes unhinged. Can you get him forward? Can you find him a seam and use his pace? He probably could have been a little bit more composed there, but half a chance for Fresno, better than no chance, and see if they can get it going a little bit.
Well, I think for Sykes, we've seen a lot of entry passes. We're talking about the way that Golden West is compacting into that box, and you just don't get the feeling that the extra pass is really going to get you much. It just seems to go into a sea of white jerseys.
You're 100% right, Jeff, and I think what they do well is if once the ball gets forward and they find Sykes or whomever it is, they've got players tracking, so they have 5 players compacted, maybe 6 players compacted in the box. So any shots that they get are going to be from a poor angle, and they have a lot of numbers around the center of the field, so it's going to be difficult for Fresno to get on the end of balls as well.
Rams clear it out and find Sykes. Santos now gets it back on the give and go.
Fresno does a good job changing the point of attack there, but when they change the point of attack, the forwards are much too slow to get back and get connected to their midfield players. And we talked about that with a couple coaches at halftime. Their forwards just seem to be slow to connect with their midfield.
Sykes drops the pass, but cleared out.
Fresno's starting to be a little bit more dangerous here. That's a good opportunity there. First touch is a little too heavy. And, of course, with Golden West and their discipline of staying home and staying in the middle, their center backs clean that ball up very, very easily.
61st minute now into the 62nd minute. Yeah, just the very tightest window there for a moment for Fresno, but can't get a shot off. It was Salais trying to make a move at the top of the box, but the Rustlers were there. Long throw in, cleared away, and Golden West sends it back out.
And there it is. They keep one high against Fresno's two, and whoever it is, and who's a number 30 for Perdomo, the goal scorer, and he's been terrific in that situation. They're holding a ball, trying to let them get numbers into the attack. It didn't happen there, but very composed on the ball, and he's been a tough handle for Fresno up front. Fresno just hasn't been effective either on that long throw-in, so they have to find a different option. They're throwing a ball into one player who's being defended by three, so they need to find another little option off that now that they're drawing three players to the ball, they've got to find a way to take advantage of that a little bit.
Rams with the throw in. Centering pass into the box, but sent back out. Reyes in good position, clears it away. And the header back in, but Vega will have the easy play.
And if we watch that, the two center backs from Golden West just stay at home. They stay in the middle. They help their goalkeeper, and they take care of that driven ball that's into the box. And there's a goalkeeper trying to sell that a little bit. From one goalkeeper talking to another, there's nothing there.
Salais over there, and now it's Salais who's going to
he gives him a yellow
clap a little bit. And
yellow card for trying to kill the game a little bit and embellishing what he's claiming is some sort of foul. But
yeah, say maybe he got spiked on the way, but
hey, if you're a goalkeeper, and I say this as a former goalkeeper, you're going to play games like that to hold the ball at your feet and bait a player to come try and force you to pick it up, and you're going to leave it on the ground that long, and you turn it into a 50-50 ball, expect that to happen.
Yep. Well, now, according to the jersey, let's correct once again, it's Misha Marsan that is in goal here in the second half, so apologies, having a little difficulty keeping track of who's doing the keeping for Golden West, but it's Marsan.
They've played different goalkeepers this year, so yep.
Okay, so Marsan picks up the yellow card, and the Rustlers will bring it back in here in the 64th minute, and the Rams need something dramatic. Sykes starts a move, but has that one stolen. Galvan able to poke it away from Sykes, and now the Rams will have to reset.
Once again, Golden West does a terrific job. Once the first ball gets played in by Fresno, they put numbers back quickly. They put 9 behind the ball as quick as they can do it, and then they organize and try and then defend. So what they've done in terms of their discipline of putting players behind the ball, and I think we're going to see another yellow here. And again, I don't know why Golden West players even bother to complain about the foul, because A, it's a clear foul, and B, it's a yellow card. So at some point, the referee has to get tired of that. And they're sitting on 7, 1, 2, 3. That's 7 yellow cards now for Golden West.
Is there a sense in which it can be a little bit of intentional misdirection? The more that you're complaining about the calls that we're supposedly not getting, the more you're drawing attention away from any calls that might go against you.
Yeah,
did you follow that there? That was a little cryptic.
So
I was a little all over the place on that.
And that's, some of it's intentional, some of it's just habit. You complain about it, but Also, I think there's a little bit that says, hey, listen, I didn't mean to do it. I know I fouled him, but do I really deserve a yellow? And in this game, the way it's been played, you 100% deserve a yellow. Anything borderline, it seems at this point that the yellow is going to be shown.
Not a long pass into the box, but sent back out. But the Rams control. Shot blocked at the point. And back out to midfield, where the Rustlers winning.
Perdomo again being incredibly dangerous as a lone wolf up there, tracking balls down. And
yeah, just for a moment, it looked like he might have a little bit of daylight, but the Rams able to get back. Nonetheless, the ball stays with Golden West, and this will be a corner kick for the Rustlers.
Right, and in situations like this, they get forward, and even just getting a corner out of this is gonna take some time. So they're gonna pull numbers forward. Vargas is going to come forward into the box, and they're going to milk this a little bit to pull some time out of it, almost get a little bit of rest. They're not going to commit too many guys forward. Fresno leaves 2 high, or Golden West leaves 3 high, so Fresno leaves 2, and this is Golden West in a nutshell right now.
Sent back out, but the Rustlers will keep it.
And I also think we're going to see more of that, Jeff, where Fresno's is going to have to start committing numbers and possession forward, and Golden West is going to leave 1 high. If they keep Perdomo in there, who's been very good at it, he's going to get a couple of opportunities here over the next 15 or 20 minutes playing 1v1 or 1v2 against Fresno.
Another steal at midfield, but no counter develops. Well, surprised the Rams a little bit sloppy in their own zone. A couple of turnovers here, and again, I think you chalk that up to the very tight defense going on for Golden West.
And it almost seemed from the kickoff, Fresno, even without pressure, they just haven't been very connected in the back four. The way they're playing balls, it just seems to be, maybe it's Golden West trying to bait them into playing a bad ball so they can pressure teams. Some teams do that, and they do that very well. They give them a little bit of space, and as soon as they play a ball that's not so good, Golden West steps and presses on that and takes advantage of it. And they're going to start to play a game here right now. I'll be surprised if this guy doesn't just put the ball down and let someone else take the throw. He actually took it, so they're not trying to delay things too much.
Flores Diaz, and he loses it out of bounds. It'll go back to Fresno. 68th minute.
A good decision by Fresno. Get the ball in. Oh, he's going to pull a sub in, but that was a good decision to try and play that goal kick quick so they can start to get the ball. I think Fresno almost needs to just get the ball into the final third of Golden West. Maybe play the ball in, win the knockdown, or try and win a throw-in, because they just haven't been effective playing out of the back and finding the right seams.
Long pass ahead, but 3 back for Golden West, and it finds its way to Marsong.
Now that ball isn't bad if they keep it in front and play it into somebody, or enough so that the back four has to deal with it and they can pressure them a little bit and win the ball back or win a second ball. But the ball over the top right into the goalkeeper is just going to play right into Golden West. And if you look at Golden West posture, they've got, their 2 center backs are going to stay home. They're not going anywhere. Their weak side outside back is staying home as well. And they're keeping 5 on their half of the field. They don't need to score anymore at this point.
And Galvan able to just chip that one out of play. Let the Rustlers set the defense, where the Rams have had a difficult time, I should say, even getting a shot on net. Again, they try the long entry. And on those long entry passes that really amount to 50-50 balls a lot of the time, it's the Rustlers who are winning almost all of them.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job of challenging everything, but also winning what we'll call the knockdown or the second ball. Almost better than any team I've seen do it this year. And it's one thing you hope your team does really, really well, because you can't win every ball, but you can challenge balls. And the reality is we try to teach our guys, too. If you see a ball that you maybe want to go for, but you're like, I'm not going to win this, put yourself in a position that when the player takes it down or heads it or knocks it down, can you read the game well enough to win the knockdown? So maybe you don't win the ball in the air, which doesn't look great, but it's the same thing. If the player knocks it down and you win it, we get into the attack or you can disrupt the game. So Golden West has been clinical with that today.
A hard shot at the near post, but an easy save. Meanwhile, we have a Rustler player down over on the Fresno side of the field, about the 28-yard line.
Yeah, and anything right now for Golden West to get a little bit of break, and it disrupts the tempo because Fresno's trying to force the issue a little bit, and all these little things, injury or no injury, gamesmanship or no gamesmanship, it changes the tempo. And Golden West can take a breath, look at the clock. Hey boys,
See, it's a little bit
22 minutes. Let's just keep doing what we're doing, guys.
And that's interesting to me because I think the other side of that would be sometimes if you're the team that's winning, you want to keep going. This is going the way we want it to go. But I think there's a sense in which I think it's interesting with these two teams that Golden West, I think, is the team that's really benefited from slowing it down, resetting, getting back to what they're doing. Their game plan is clearly working.
Yeah.
So anytime that you can get an opportunity to reset yourself, how can that hurt you?
No, for sure.
As we wind toward the 72nd minute, and let's get a look at no, it's not Perdomo. I believe that's actually Perdomo, I should say. I believe that's Vargas. No, it's Elian Areola.
Yep.
Elian Areola. How do you like it? We haven't really seen much of Jesus or Juan Vargas today, who really keyed this Rustler run. But it speaks, I think, to the depth that's required.
Right. Vargas has, quietly been incredibly good in the back. Jesus, I haven't noticed very much. But Vargas, sometimes when your center back is your top goal scorer, it says a lot about how you get your goals. And to be honest with you, maybe they're getting goals out of counterattack today, which I don't know that they've gotten a lot over this season.
Well, I have some news for you from something that you said earlier, and it's not going to be good news for Ram fans. And that is, you wondered if the Rams had trailed 2-0 at any point this year. And the answer is they did back on October 16th, but that was in their lone loss to Consumnes River. They did come back to make it 2-1, but they fell in that one. So the Rams, hoping that history doesn't repeat itself here, but in the 73rd minute, they've got them out in decline.
And actually, now that you say that, we play Consumnes River. We play them twice during our conference in the Big 8, and Ron does a good job with his boys over there in Elk Grove outside of Sacramento. And I think it was a kind of game where they got a couple goals, and then Fresno was just almost a little lethargic, and they couldn't generate anything, much like we're seeing here today. So maybe on another one of those types of days, unfortunately for Fresno.
Yeah, I think the urgency, we've seen it develop really from the first goal by Perdomo. It's been there, but I think what we haven't seen is the ability to really make an adjustment or find an adjustment that's worked at all. It feels like the Rams are continuing to try and do what they do, but not having a lot of success.
Right, and there's another long throw-in from Fresno. They get 0 off it, nothing dangerous. They run one player to the ball. Golden West defends it with 3 and another center back that sits home and wins the ball. It just hasn't been effective, and they keep doing the same thing. Golden West knows exactly what's coming, and they have to. I said it before, but Fresno now has to do something different unless they really feel like they can get something dangerous off that. But today it's been 0 dangerous off that long throw-in.
Well, that was a great effort from Sykes to win that ball and get another chance for the Rams, battling a couple of Golden West players. But ultimately it leads to a shot from well outside the box that is wide of the post. And in the 75th minute, Golden West continues to lead it 2-0.
I think Fresno is at a point now, and I think from a coaching standpoint, tactically, continuing to do what you do isn't going to work anymore. 2-0 down, 75th, going into the 70s, almost the 76th minute. And you have to change something, whether that's go to 3 in the back, whether that's go to a system where you play your same 4, but you stack your 2 center backs. One plays high, one plays deep, or one plays more in the attack and one plays deep, just so they can get more numbers. And they have to push another number up against Golden West back 4. They have to do it. And there's nothing to lose at this point. You're the defending champion. You've had tremendous years. You won a championship last year. They won another conference championship, and they're in the semifinal right now. So almost at a flip point right now. Fresno's the team with nothing to lose right now.
Loose ball. Galvan going against Sykes.
Yeah, he's going to call a foul back here, a late tackle on Golden West. Again, do you like it? I don't know if anyone really likes it, but a late foul, a foul from behind, disrupts the game, tactical foul, dead ball, put numbers back behind it, Golden West advantage right there. And this is where they have to win the second one. Right there, they've got to win that second one. They've got to find a space. They play it into the right in front of the back four. I talked about them trying to do that earlier. Very effective ball, but instead of the player running on there, he almost needs to drop back behind his own player so he can head it back in on his feet, and now he's facing the goal. So Fresno's starting to do the right things, and let's see if they can get something to happen here to try and pull one back and make it a little bit more exciting here over the last 16 or 17 minutes as we go into the 77th minute.
Trying to build an attack, but the centering pass is blocked at the point, and this will be a corner kick for Fresno City. So an opportunity here for a set piece in the 77th minute.
This will be interesting to see how many players they bring forward and how they handle it. It's got to be driven. Vargas is going to be very, very good in the air, and they also, they've also got number 15 who's in there, which is Jesus Vargas. So the two Vargas brothers, I presume, have just anchored the center of that back four phenomenally today. That's just not going to get it done right
They try to go to the top of the box. This one corralled. Fresno will keep it. Chipped in front, and Marsan able to get high for the save.
And that's at least there. Fresno's in the box. They challenge it up for shoulder to shoulder. It's a good challenge, and he does well to come down with that ball.
Yeah, Misha Marsan.
He looks a little slight in figure, but he actually seems really agile. Held on to that ball nicely and confidently. And as much as when your back four is playing well, if your goalkeeper's playing well and holding balls, and now all of a sudden the confidence level that you have as a team increases, and all of a sudden Fresno starts to think, holy smokes, their goalkeeper's playing well, the back four is playing well. They have to just find different spots in the attack where they can probe and try and find something here. And Golden West just doesn't need to do much different.
Long pass ahead for Sykes. Sykes drives it toward the front, and it's headed back out. Nobody home for Fresno. But the Rams maintain. Covarrubias a one-timer, but Marsan able to knock it down.
Jesus Vargas with that entry pass from Daquan Sykes. Their two center backs do a terrific job of staying shoulder to shoulder with a little space between them. They win balls in front of the goalkeeper, and it's the best center back combination I have seen the entire year. Obviously, I haven't seen everybody play, but it's the best center back combination I've seen play in terms of how close they stay connected and how they deal with winning balls in the air.
I feel like the 50-50 ball is the sort of the equivalent to the loose balls that you hear about in basketball. And it's the team that wins more.
And that's not a skill apparatus. That is a 100% discipline to be committed to winning that ball, and it's a mentality if you want to call it that. And if there's a chink in the armor of Daquan Sykes, a good player for Fresno, it's he has his pace and his ability to get behind other teams. He struggles a little bit technically sometime with his first touch, and that showed up there on the sideline there. So 80th minute here in Ventura.
The winner of this one back in action Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, the men's championship. We'll have that here for you on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
Interesting in the back four for Golden West right now is Vargas has slid over to the right side. He's almost playing right back, and he's marking as opposed to running free. So maybe he's marking somebody that they feel is dangerous for Fresno, but he's moved over to the right side. He's playing right back as opposed to playing center back. So, and he's done that. He's listed as an outside back, but he plays center back a lot. So he is man marking and just cleaning up everything in the air, along with the two other center backs, and one of them being number 15, his brother Jesus.
One-timer from well outside. And a near whiff now. Sykes chips one toward the front of the goal, and Marsan right there.
And if we watch the body language of Fresno right now, they just look tired. And you can understand it from what we've talked about earlier in terms of how much they've played and when they've played. But, they just look tired, maybe mentally and emotionally as well. And you don't want to say it, but we're in the 82nd minute, and it's almost like their well is run dry. And it's a 3-year well, to be honest with you. They've been here 3 years in a row. They were in the final 2 years ago here, lost to Mount Sac in PKs. They won the final last year against Taft up in Sacramento at American River, and they're back here again. And it's, at some point, how can you keep it going? Can you have the fortunate ability? And they haven't been as fortunate with injuries and et cetera. And credit to Eric and his staff for piecing things together, but they just look a little bit frazzled at this point to be able to get it done. And man, Golden West, respect to them for sticking to what they do and with how they play and not budging an inch. It has gotten them to 2-0 here in the 83rd.
Well, if there was a theme to the men's bracket, it was Titans versus Cinderella, and I think it's round one Cinderella. It looks like here is Golden West,
and I think
as clearly picked up right where they left off. With an explosive run to get here, and this is as impressive as it gets. So you're talking about the recent pedigree, the recent run of this team that they're playing right now and winning against.
Yeah, and Cinderella, I don't know maybe if it's not Cinderella, Jeff, because I looked at their schedule and we look at who they played. Yeah. And Cerritos 1-0, Cerritos 1-0 losses. They've only lost to Cerritos and Fullerton, and there's a couple of schools in there, Santa Ana, and all very good teams. They're postseason teams, so the pedigree is there, and now they're taking those games and they're winning those games. So 6 seed, yes, but it's a
misleading,
darn good 6 seed.
Yeah. Well, for all our talk about how the North bracket has been so wide open and so many teams have made a run. This is a 6 seed, and there have been some upsets in the South as well, and that speaks to the depth here for a team that battled in the Orange Empire Conference all season long.
Correct. So, similar to the North, there's another foul by Golden West, another opportunity. We'll see if Fresno can take advantage. Get one. If they just have to get one, Jeff, and they get that, and then they maybe get some adrenaline back to get it going again. But the North and the South similar. Your 2 1 seeds are here, but your 2, your 3, and your 4 seeds are not.
85th minute. Free kick coming for Fresno, and maybe a last opportunity. Hard drive through the uprights, but well over the goal.
And you look at the body language of the coaching staff at Fresno on that, and as I looked over that happen, Eric Solberg head goes down, crosses a leg. His longtime assistant coach, Nick, you can see the head moving. He's got another coach next to him, and their heads all drop. Like, Oh, it's a great opportunity wasted. And they had a similar one in the first half, and they have to find a way to at least make it dangerous. And they just haven't. They haven't done that today.
Yeah, I think that's a play where they have an option to make a pass or to try and chip one into the box, but instead they go for the shot, and it's
even if that
well
ball,
over the crossbar.
And even if that ball is a shot, but it's driven on goal, and you force the goalkeeper to make a save, and then you run 3 or 4 or 5 guys at him. If he spills it, you get a goal, just like Golden West got a goal off a disrupted play, off of rebound, off of a second ball.
Yep. Ball played in from the corner at the top of the box and a shot on goal. But Marson able to scoop it up.
Hey, credit to Fresno. They're still coming at them. They're still taking their opportunities. And you can see Golden West. They're putting 9 behind the ball. They leave 1 high, and as soon as the goalkeeper saves, they run another player forward, so they look to counter off that. And
86th minute, and that might have been the best shot that we've seen from Fresno today.
Maybe the most open, the most dangerous, a full opportunity, square on goal. They actually had players running in to look for the second ball, but once again,
Reyes able to play it back to Marson.
Marson's been pretty clean today in terms of dealing with that type of stuff and not giving Fresno a second chance or a second ball or the knockdown ball. But I think we see now this late, and I saw it earlier, is that the freshness of Golden West as opposed to maybe some fatigue from Fresno, it starts to show itself. It showed itself earlier, but it's really showing itself now. And it's not so much a fitness, because Fresno has very good fitness, but Golden West having 3 extra days of rest before they played this match compared to Fresno. You don't lose rhythm in 6 days. If it was 10 or 14 days, it's a different story from not playing a match. But not having played for 6 days, they're incredibly fresh, and it's shown here today in Ventura.
Into the 88th minute. Sykes.
As we look here, Fresno just needs to put more numbers. Their left side, their outside back is just sitting high and sitting back. He needs to get forward. There's a huge seam and a huge pocket where they can find him. They find him there, but it's not dangerous. Golden West just going to sit behind. So a little bit more risk taking by Fresno would be optimal at this point. Let's see if they do anything different on this long throw, if they commit more numbers into the box, because Golden West has stuffed this the whole game. They've taken care of defending this long throw the entire match. They get a corner off that, so a little bit more than they've gotten earlier, Jeff. So a little more dangerous. Fresno committing almost everything into the box, which they should here. And they have to win the second ball because they don't want the counterattack to happen here either.
Driven into the box and sent right back out. And another fairly easy clear for the Rustlers. They've moved Sykes over to the other side. A whistle comes in as we're into extra time. Ram player down on the far side.
Can't tell. It looks like it might be Daquan Sykes on the ground. I don't. Hard to say from this far away. And it is, I believe.
Yep.
He's a sophomore, potentially playing in his last game for Fresno City, and he's a nice player, a nice young man as well. And unfortunately, he's going to have to come off here and maybe not be able to finish out the last few minutes of his sophomore season, or his second season here with Fresno City.
So the free kick sent in at the front of the goal, and the Rustlers able to clear this one just outside the box, make the Rams reset. The Rustlers inching closer. Ever closer to an appearance in the championship game as they will continue this run that saw them defeat Orange Empire Conference champion Fullerton. One-timer. Well wide. They follow it up with a victory over Mount San Antonio College. And here today, just a minute or two away, we would think here, Dave. And I think I'm starting to hear some of the Rustler fans make a little noise, those that have made the trip.
They're rustling
from Huntington Beach.
There, Jeff. Yeah, absolutely. So,
yep.
Impressive performance by Golden West. Maybe not your, I don't want to say stereotypical, but when we think about teams from the South, we think about Cerritos, we think about Mount Sac because of the teams we see in the Final Four the most. We think about Oxnard, and the way that they play, they all have a very similar type of tactical and technical approach. And Golden West is different, and maybe that is the key of their success, that they don't play the prototypical game that the South teams like to play, or some of the teams that I'm familiar with. And because of that, you get a little different flavor when you play them, and you have to defend differently and play different emotionally and physically. And they've been obviously successful to this point doing it.
Well, it appears to have been a very solid and well-executed defensive game plan and a little bit of Chris Perdomo.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
a combination, and
but
that has worked.
But Chris Perdomo epitomizes the way Golden West as a team has played the entire match. Gritty, physical, tough, disrupting the game, looking for every opportunity that they have, and it has been almost 100% Golden West today.
Well, in 180 minutes, they've outscored Fresno and Mount San Antonio College 4-0. So whoever gets them in the finals is getting one tough opponent here.
Absolutely, 100%. Cerritos is coming up on the docket here at 1 o'clock against San Francisco City, a team that I'm familiar with. We played early in the year. We talk about that later. But in my mind, and I said this to our boys back at home, I said, who do you think? I said, Cerritos, hands down the favorite. But it's going to be interesting to watch this Golden West team. If Cerritos can get to the final, two very different teams, and that will be very interesting to watch. And it's fun to watch two combating type styles play each other, because you don't know who's going to yield, right?
Corner kick coming for Fresno. Well, I would have said Cerritos was the favorite too till this game started. Now I'm going to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe less of a favorite.
But Marsan able to punch that one out.
But they're going to have to get through a very feisty and good San Francisco City team, a 10 seed. But when I think of San Francisco City, the string of matches that they had from the middle of September until now, they lost 3 games in September, one of them to us, one of them to Cosumnes River, was a good team this year, and maybe to Contra Costa. And they came out of that, and then they just strung it together. And since then, only one loss. They've gotten through postseason. They beat the 2 seed West Valley, and now they're here in the Final Four.
It's a final here in semifinal number 1, Golden West College, a 2-0 win. We're going to wrap things up here, come back in a little bit, and get you ready for semifinal number 2. That'll be City College of San Francisco and Cerritos College. Once again, final score, 2-0 Golden West. They move on to the final. That'll be Sunday at 10 o'clock. For everybody here at SoCalCollegeSports.com, so long, everybody. We'll rejoin you for semifinal number 2.